Hi everybody, my name is Mike and I am studying a language degree at the Distrital University here in Bogota, and today I have decided to talk to you about languages, and I want to talk to you a little of my experiences in languages. I am learning currently French and English, and I want to talk to you that I listen a lot of people who says that to learn language is something completely useful. But I don't think so, and I want to demonstrate that it is not something truth. Yes, and why? Most of people think that it is not useful because you are not going to use it in your social context. And also, most of people think that to learn a language is something that you can do only because it can be a hobby. But then, being honest, it can bring for you a lot of different advantage, and not only in the laboral field, which is the reason because most of people learn as foreign language. Yes, in order to get a better job, and even it is true, you can get a lot of laboral opportunities, but also there are a lot of different advantages related to your personal improvement, related to social abilities, and related to cognitive abilities. So there we go. That's the reason. Because I have brought for you 8 different advantages of learning a new language or a foreign language. Well, the first advantage is it can increase your confidence. I know that it can sound a little strange and it can sound something related to psychology, but to learn a new language really can increase your confidence. And how? When you are going to begin to learn a new language, and I'm going to talk to you since my experience, it is very difficult because you can find some problems related to grammar and speaking, listening and writing. You are learning something completely different to the things that you are learning, and it is something completely you are going to listen things that you are not listen in your daily life. So it can be a problem, but you have to understand that to learn a language is a steady progress. And when you are going to and when you realize about that progress that you are doing, it is something that really increase your confidence. It really increase your abilities, your social abilities. Just imagine that you are able to talk with a person, with a foreign person, with a person who is of another place, different of your country. Yes, and also when most of people are going to listen to you, that you have that ability, going to admire to you, and it's going to increase your confidence. So this is the first advantage of learning a new language. Remember, it can increase your confidence. And now, the advantage number 2 is it works out your brain. And how it works, yes, it can be also sound weird, but most of researchers have found that a bilingual mind and a bilingual brain tends to be bigger, and a bilingual minds tend to memorize better, to have better abilities to resolve problems, and even a bilingual mind is more creative. So it is something that you are going to improve in your cognitive aspects, because when you are going to learn a new language, you are constantly stimulating your abilities of listening or speaking, um, and also you are going to constantly stimulate the two different sides of your brain, because we are going to learn different aspects. We are going to receive an active learning and a passive learning. In the active learning, we have writing and speaking. On the other hand, in the passive learning, we have listening and reading. Yes, that's going to stimulate both both sides of the brain. and that's the reason because a bilingual brain can also be considered a brain that can think better because the fact that to switch from speak your native language to begin to speak another language is constantly stimulating your brain. It is something that moves your cerebral activities. So that's the second advantage of learning a new language. Yes, it wears out your brain, your mind. Yeah, why don't you decide to learn a new language? Now, the advantage number three, travel is funnier and cheaper. Yes, what do you think that the travel can be funnier? Well, have you ever traveled to a country and in that country you can communicate your feelings and your thinkings? It has to be something awful. Um, in short, you can to express yourself, you can to make to do communication with with foreign people, and it has to be something difficult. um, why is funny when you are in a foreign country, you are going to talk with another people, with people who is not constantly in your social aspect, who, with people who think different, with have different costumes, and with people who has different ideas related to their environment. So it is funny because you are going to get a lot of people and you have the ability of talking with that kind of people, and it's cheaper. Why? Normally, when you don't know any about the language, you are going to search in that country a hotel, and most of cases you are going to find um, things that are very expensive. But when you have the ability for talking with the people, they can recommend to you a cheaper hotel, a cheaper site, cheaper restaurants, and besides of a good quality delicious food, and you can get a lot of help. Yes, and it is just only using some keywords that can become your travel cheaper, and that's amazing there. So the advantage number three is to travel is funnier and cheaper. Now, the advantage number four, you can find new friends. What do you think about the idea to of have different friends of different parts of the world? It sounds great. What do you think? Well, and most of the courses of language is something interesting because there are a lot of people of different parts of the world. Most of people are learning English, and you are going to you are going to find a lot of interesting ideas in another people. You are going to perceive another perceptions of the world depending on the environment of those different people who comes of a different place. That's the reason because to learn a foreign language is an advantage because to you have the ability of make communication with other people, and some and sometimes you can to do a meaningful friendship. So the advantage number four is you can find new friends. Now the advantage number five, to know new cultures. It is related to the formulae advantage. To know new cultures. Everybody knows that we are um, um, each one of the people is based on a culture, on an environment, and it is something that can determine the personality, the way of thinking, um, the different behaviors. So to know a culture, it is something that going to give to you a lot of experiences, and even you can compare the culture of another person with your culture. You are going to analyze your different culture, and you are going to learn that some cultures are very different and even can have better things than your culture. So it is going to help you to understand the world, to understand the people, the simply idea that you can express your ideas and you can understand to the other person that express a totally different idea, and to understand why that idea is something that grows to listen. So the advantage number five is to know new cultures. Now, what is the advantage number six? Advantage number six is it helps you better understand your own language. And in this case, I want to talk since my own experience. I am learning French, and being honest, I have learned a lot of Spanish grammar because, well, we have to identify that French and Spanish are language that comes of the same source, which is Latin. So I have learned a lot, and it is something very interesting. Being honest, I have learned a lot of my language, and I have learned things that I didn't know. Even if I am a native Spanish speaker, I, I, I can identify because when I compare two languages, they are so similar, and you are going to find that in this language happens something very similar in Spanish. It is something that most people don't realize about to learn a foreign language, and even it can seem something ironic, but being honest, it is something that can be happened. So I want to encourage to you to learn a foreign language, because you are not going to learn only about a different language, you are going to improve your language skill in your native language. What do you think about it? Well, now the advantage number seven, it opens your mind. When I say that it opens your mind, it means that you are going to learn different things, different dialects, different costumes, different ways of thinking, and you are going to find that each country has his different ideas, his features. For example, I have listened that French is very related to poetry and literature, and even Germany is related to art. Well, when you have the ability and you have the capacity to read the literature of another countries in his original language, you are going to learn a lot of things. And this is also related to the communication with other person, yes, of a different place of your country. So it opens your mind. You are going to have different experiences, different points of view about the world, about a lot of things. Maybe you can consider that something is strange, that something, or even you can consider that something is well, until you find a new perspective about that same thing. So the advantage number six is it number seven, sorry, it opens your mind. And now the advantage number eight, and the last advantage is it represents an advantage in laboral. Most of people are learning a new language in order to get a new and a better opportunity of work of job. Being honest, it is something very common, and it represents an advantage and a laboral advantage why a lot of companies have come to these countries. Um, there are a lot of companies divided in a lot of countries, and they are needing people who understand different languages. Yes, people who has the abilities. I mean, this is something that can help you in order to improve your lifestyle. But this is not only concern in the laboral field. Just I want that you imagine that you can study in another country. What do you think about that idea? It also represents an improvement in an scholar way, in an scholar field. So, what are you waiting for learning a new and a foreign language? Thank you very much. Goodbye.